welcome to the voiceover of this time lapse. So, I've never talked for 12 minutes straight before, so this will be interesting. I'll talk about the time lapse itself a little bit. Right now, and for like the entire thing, I'm just using the onion skin layer in Fire Alpaca when I'm at school, which I'm not right now, which is the whole reason I'm doing this, because it's the summer and I've nothing to do. We usually use Toon Boom, but I don't have access to Toon Boom right now, so Fire Alpaca is it. It also starts like after my sketching and after I've like mostly lined the first frame, and that's because I decided while I was at work that, hey, why don't I film the time lapse? Like, why the hell not? So that's why it's here, and that's why it's after the sketching and a little bit after the line work kind of thing, because it was on a whim, and that's where I stopped before I went to work. And it starts back up after work. Wow, that's kind of obvious. The other thing that I kind of wanted to talk about was my first year of art school. So I go to an art school, and I just got back on summer break from my freshman year. Pretty basic, did the, fall, spring semester, all that good stuff. But I think that the one thing that I really learned about art school is that freshman year does not reflect the rest of your college career. And that is so big and so important, because in my personal experience, I don't know if this is the same at every other art school, but my experience was that there are a lot of foundation classes. You go in, you don't know any classes that you're taking. You know one class that you're taking, and that's your freshman seminar, because we had multiple themes for a freshman seminar, and we got to pick one that interested us most. But honestly, it was a real mess. It was fun, but it was a real mess. But because a lot of people were like, is this what art school is like? Their first, semester in, they were like, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. I didn't want it to be like this. And then they drop it, because you have a lot of foundation classes is what they are. So you have to take your intro to drawing, so it's a life drawing class, and you have to take 3D, you sculpt things out of cardboard and trash bags, and then you have 2D where you just cut up tiny little pieces of paper and then glue them down on another piece of paper. It's all of this stuff, and it's so tedious, and it drives people crazy, and they hate it, and they think this is what all of art school is going to be like, and so they don't want to keep going to art school. But it's so important to know that that's not what art school is like. That's just your freshman year, and it's honestly just a real hell barricade that kind of weeds out the people who do want to be there and the people who don't want to be there, which is why incoming classes, I go to a pretty small art school, and so incoming classes are 170 people, and by the end the graduating class is 80, and 80 is a big graduating class. And I know that this one is overall and really kind of a universal art school thing, but art school's graduation rates are around 45%. And this one is really true for my school specifically, because we keep percentages of literally everything, and I don't know why, but it's convenient for statistics, and our graduation rate is around 46%. And this is a number of things, because art schools like to screw people over. So you apply, you get in, and they're like, have this ginormous scholarship. They're like, have this wonderful scholarship. And I'll just use myself as an example. This is purely for examples. Don't take this as like me being like, haha, I had this huge scholarship, because I promise you, it happens to literally everyone. You get these big scholarships, especially if you're doing in-state tuition, you're going to a school that's in-state. My school loves to give scholarships to people who are from the state that the school is in, and people go there. So I got a $16,000 a year scholarship, which accumulates to 64 overall. And so that pays for approximately 1.8 of a school year, because tuition tends to be around like $50,000 a year. But the problem is that you have to maintain a 3.5 GPA. And maintaining a 3.5 GPA is hell. It's difficult. It's so hard. It means that I do all the math, because everyone just fucking stresses about maintaining their GPA, and you just don't do it. You don't do it, and you lose your scholarships, and now you just get a full tuition plopped right on your lap, and you're like, I can't afford this. And then, that's another reason that people end up dropping out, is because they can't afford the tuition. The tuition is crazy, and it's unnecessary, and all that jazz. So, what it is that you have to have 3 B's and 2 A's, and that generally around there averages out to a 3.5 GPA. And it's a little give or take, you have some B minuses, some A minuses, but you cannot have C's, no C's. C's just, if you have a C in a class and then all your other classes are A's, you'll probably keep your 3.5 GPA. But it's crazy, it's wild, it's difficult. And housing in schools is so expensive. My sophomore year, I am moving into an apartment, and it is knocking $12,000 off my tuition, which is just crazy. That's crazy. And granted, that knocks it down to 40,000, but that's still a lot less debt. So the reason that your freshman year is so different from the rest of your college career, I guess I haven't really given examples into the next years, because I haven't experienced them yet, but I've kind of experienced it. I've gotten a taste of what sophomore year is like, kind of vicariously through some of my friends who are sophomores going into being juniors. But because at the end of my freshman year, you get to make your own schedule, and this is already just out of the water different from freshman year. Because freshman year, they send you your schedule in the mail, or you get your schedule when you just show up for orientation, and they're like, these are your classes, go crazy. And you're like, awesome, what do I do? You don't buy art supplies before you go to class, because your teachers will just tell you what you need, and that was a huge mistake. I spent $300 that summer buying ridiculous and unnecessary art supplies that I never used, gallons of tempera paint that literally never used. They just sat under my bed the whole year, and it was stupid, but I still kept them because they're gallons of tempera paint. But at the end of your freshman year, you get to pick your new classes, and that's a huge thing. So you have just freshman seminar, you have sophomore seminar and things like that, but you get to go through, you get to see all of the available things. And unlike freshman year, where you have one elective a semester, you get your sophomore year 2 electives in the fall semester and 3 electives in the spring semester, and that's crazy. That's most of your schedule. You generally have about 5 classes, and here you are, like half or more of that is dedicated to just your major, like what your intended major is and what you want to do and what you enjoy, instead of these foundation classes like art history and crap like that. You still have to take art history, but you only have to take like 1 art history. It's wild. And then every year you have to take like a sort of like your high school core kind of things, regular college class things, I guess. Like freshman year you have to do English, and then sophomore year you have to do like world history and things like that, and philosophy and all that crap. So that's like what takes up your schedule, is like you do like simple small classes like philosophy or history, things like that, and then you get just your awesome fun electives, and like you're so deterred freshman year, especially in the fall semester, because you're like, oh my god, is this just what it is like? But then like you get to the end of your spring semester and you're like, oh my god, I can't wait for next year. And then it just makes everything all the better, and just be like, oh my god, the sophomore year kind of thing. And honestly, you meet so many people in school, and it's just phenomenal, the people you make, especially if you go to like a specific thing, like getting your BFA, your whatever. So here's the final GIF. I hope you enjoyed muting this and listening to some other music. Thank you for watching. Bye!